Looking at the denominator for the next one, for this question here, we have a 3, we have an x. None of them can be factor. Each of them is a monomial, single term. We don't see division of square, we don't see trinomial, we don't see any PCF. We will start working on these right away. So I don't need to factor the denominator. I want to identify the LCD right away so that I can multiply the LCD to each of them and remove the denominator in this process. In this question, we have 3 in the denominator, x in the denominator. That's your LCD. Bring them together. And if this is what we see in the denominator, we will multiply each of them by the LCD. Once again, we will times it to the top, times it to the numerator only. We are not making the denominators the same. This is the biggest difference between this lesson and the previous one. In the previous lesson, we were trying to add or subtract, and that's why we need the same denominator before doing it. But right now, we want to solve for x, and we need to get rid of the denominator in order to solve for x. Multiplying everything by the LCD will help us to remove the denominator. 3 here will be gone. The x here will be gone. Once we have reduced the denominator, and bring the rest together and solve this equation. And in this case, we end up with a quadratic. We know how to solve a quadratic equation. Quadratic equations can be solved using the quadratic formula, or if you can factor this, do with it. Quadratic formula is for people who have trouble factoring your trinomial. Or if your trinomials cannot be factored, then quadratic formula will be the best. In this case, I have a trinomial that is relatively easy to factor. And that would give us your answer for x. Both of them give us x equals 3. You don't have to write it twice. X equals 3 would then be your answer. Make sure you check your answer. Put your number back to the very beginning. In order to check your solution, you use your answer, you use the number from your solution, and put it back at the very beginning. Put it back to the question itself, and see if the left side and the right side will equal to each other. Don't make your substitution back to any of the above in the middle. When you want to check your answer, always bring it back to the very beginning. And if it does give us positive 2 on the right-hand side, if it works, then this is your answer.